So it's a very important concept when it comes about designing a high quality software using a structured approach. So first of all, let's see what does it actually mean. So SDLC is a process which is used for designing, development, and testing of a good quality software. You can understand this as a set of protocols or rules that helps us to develop a software that is easy to maintain and it satisfies the user need. Uh, it also defines entire procedure for developing an application step by step. Now, what is the need for SDLC? So, to develop a software that is very complex, you would want to have a step by step approach that you can execute. You would want to divide your software design into smaller parts so that each part is more manageable. So, SDLC is needed for having a disciplined and systematic approach for creating a software. It divides the complex application into small and manageable parts and provide a step by step plan for designing the application. Now, let's talk about the steps of the SDLC. So first is the planning. In this phase, we development team collects all the requirement from stakeholders such as customers, your experts, managers, and they prepare a software requirement specification document called SRS. The quality assurance and identification of risk is also associated with the project, so that is also need to take care in this planning stage. So the outcome of this study is to define various approaches that can be followed to implement the project successfully with a minimum risk. Now there comes the design phase. In this, software engineers analyze the requirement and identify the solutions to create a software. So all the SRS document which has been given to them, so they understand that and like try to come up with the approaches which can be used to build the software. After that, they prepare a design document. Now, this design document must clearly define all the architectural modules of the product and data flow representation. After the planning is done, then you start about developing the product. So, in this, you bring down all the knowledge of requirement analysis and design into a real actual world software. So, in this phase of SDLC, the implementation designs begins with the writing code. So we create a small coding task to achieve on daily basis. So these are called units, and developer have to follow some coding guidelines described by the management. So after that comes your testing part. Once your system is developed, then you have to test your system, right? So the code which is generated, it is tested against the requirement to make sure that product is solving the need of the customer. The development team also combines automation testing with manual testing to check the software for bugs. During this stage, we can perform unit testing, integration testing, or system testing. After that, when your testing is done, there comes your deploying phase. So once the software is certified and no bugs and error is found, then it is ready to deploy. So deployment phase includes several tasks to move the latest build copy into the production environment, such as packaging, environment configuration, and installation. Having a separate built-in production environment ensures that customer can use the software even when it's being upgraded. So once deployment is done, now the software is with customers. There comes the maintenance part. So the real issue came up in when the customer is using the application. Some issues come up in the application, so that needs to be solved time to time. In the maintenance phase, we also monitor the overall system performance and security and user experience to identify some new ways to improve the existing softwares. So this was all about the steps which SDLC has, and now we will talk about the popular working as an SD at some organization. Do let me know in the comments what your organization use for software development. And we are going to look out some popular ones. This is a waterfall model. It is one of the first model for SDLC and very simple and popular. It's also known as linear sequential lifecycle model, and in this each phase must be completed before the next phase begin, so there can be no overlapping between the phases. So conceptually the design flows from one phase down to the another like a waterfall. In first you have your requirement gathering, where you gather all the requirements, you prepare a SRS document. Then comes your system design, where you do high level design and low level design. After that comes the implementation, when you create a smaller programs called unit. And then comes the integration and testing. So in integration, you integrate all those small units into a complete system, and post integration the system, you have to test your code against all the faults and failures that can occur. After that, you deploy your system, and they start your maintenance phase, in which you have to fix the issues that are coming time to time, and also need to look out for the ways to enhance the product, and a product with some better versions, and release some new versions time to time. So the pros and cons, let's discuss about pros and cons of waterfall. Um, it provides a discipline and gives a tangible output at the end of each. There is a little room for change once the phase is completed. So changes can affect the software delivery time, cost, or quality. Therefore, this model is mostly suitable for a small software development project where task is easy to arrange and manage. After that comes your spiral model. So the spiral model is what you can use for gradual release of the software when you have to do improvement by building prototype at each phase. Spiral model basically has four phases. Software project repeatedly passes through these phases in iteration called spirals. So first phase is identification. In each cycle of the spiral starts with the identification of the purpose. The phase starts with gathering the business requirement in the baseline spiral. In the subsequent spiral, we product as the product matures, identification of system requirements and unit requirements are done in this phase. After there comes your implementation or design phase first. So in design phase, we have to develop strategies that can resolve the uncertainty and risk. This process may include activities like benchmarking, simulation, and prototyping. The design phase starts with conceptual design in the baseline spiral, and involves into architectural design, then logical design of module, and the physical product, and the final design in the subsequent spirals. After that comes your construction or the building part. It refers to the actual software product, like building actual software product. In the baseline spiral, design is developed called POC, proof of concept. It is used to get the customer feedback, and then in subsequent spiral, when we get more clarity about the product, working model of software called build is produced and sent to the customer for feedback. Now, the last is evaluation and risk analysis. It includes identifying and estimating the monitoring, the technical feasibility and management risks such as schedule slippage or cost overrun. After testing the build at the end of first iteration, the customer evaluates the software product and provides the feedback. So you have to basically evaluate your risk associated with the project in this and move forward with the next spiral movement, right? The process, the pros and cons of the spiral model is it's suitable for large and complex projects that require frequent changes. However, it can be very expensive for small projects. Last is your agile model. It arranges the software development lifecycle into several development cycles. The team iterates through the phase rapidly, delivering only small and incremental software changes in each cycle. So they continuously evaluate requirement plans and the result so that they can respond to change quickly. The agile model is both iterative and incremental, so making it more efficient than other process models. So the pros and cons are basically rapid development cycle that helps the team to identify and address the issue very early on before they can become a significant problem. So this gives you an edge over other competitor as well, because you are able to solve the problem before them. Then they can also engage customers and stakeholders to obtain feedback throughout the project lifecycle. So agile model provides you ability to engage customer throughout the product lifecycle. So in this methodology, attention is paid to the good design of the product, and changes in the requirement are accepted and can be handled even in the later stages of the development. So it's not like waterfall model that it's very costly to go and change some of the things, but yeah, this provides you flexibility to change, handle the changes even in the later stages. So some cons of agile model is basically some documentation is very less in this, and sometimes in the agile methodology the requirement are not very cleared. Hence it is difficult to predict the expected result, right, out of the product. So this was all about the software development lifecycle, and thank you guys. See you in the next one. Stay tuned. Bye.